listen to Jigga Set. Oh, I've been listening to every show, keeping me all in the know. Jigga Set Radio.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Jigga Set Radio. JSR is in the building. We are here at the podcast studio with another... actually, this is a very special edition of the podcast today because we are interviewing the EP executive producer of JSR. And so I would love to welcome to the screen for the visual people and microphone for the audio people. We're going to bring RJay onto the stage.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on out there, love bugs? How y'all feeling?
It's the love bugs for me. Yes. Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the stage. I don't know why I say that. It's probably because I do that thing with NTS Network. Yeah. You know, welcome to the stage.
It's the hosting in you.
You're the hosting in me. But you are here. You are here to talk about yourself because we're going to have a conversation.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, we're going to have a conversation. It's going to be some nuggets that you hopefully be able to drop to the people that are listening and or watching here from the website or the podcast platforms or whatever you're streaming. You are able to do that with JSR because we're going to be everywhere. So let's just open everything up and let's get right on into it because
Go ahead.
There's a lot of things that we want to kind of flush out from the stance of RJay as the various things that the projects you have, hens and the pots, the different pots that you have, and how important
multiple streams of income.
Yes,
this was Oprah said.
Oprah said it was seven.
Seven.
I'm trying to get 17.
Number of completion.
So, but whether it's the projects you're working on, family, all that, I know that's important to you. So we're going to dive right into this. But
okay, go ahead.
Starting off, who is RJay? Standard question.
Who is RJay? So let me break that down because a lot of people ask me, what does RJay stand for? So RJay, which if you go by sound, it's just the letter R and J, but actually spell out J, RJay.
Right.
But it stands for Ricky Jr. I'm a junior. Didn't like it growing up, my name, as far as being named after my father, and I have various reasons for that. So I was like, let me create this identity. I'm going to always be Ricky at core. I'm going to always be Junior because I'm tied to him. His blood. I'm him. So I'm going to just go ahead and just shorten it. Ricky Jr. That's where I am as far as that is concerned, as far as name purposes. But who RJay is, first and foremost, I'm a father. I am a son. I am a friend. I am a brother. I am a motivator. I am a lover of happiness. I am a writer. I'm a director. I'm a producer. I'm a model. I'm an actor.
I think you said actor already.
Huh?
I think you said actor already.
I mean, because at the core of it all, it goes back into it. It goes back into it because acting is my first love. So that's who I am.
Okay. So I don't know which one to dive into first. So let's start off with the core values, who RJay is, because you are a family-oriented person. That's even people that are with children that they brought into this world. That doesn't mean that their focal point is family.
Right.
There's different levels to that. So I've seen you put family like as your focal point. Do you want to talk about your family? Who's part of your love bug group of family members, as you would like to say?
So at the hem of it all, my mother. My mother.
Shout out to mom over there.
Yes, I love you, Tina girl. Hey girl. Hey pup, love you girl. Then there is my children. And then the one grandparent that I do have left, my grandmother, on my dad's side, my paternal grandmother. And then my siblings, my friend group, the people that pour into me, definitely. And there's like probably about 5 people as far as my friend groups. Out of all of my friend groups that pour into me, definitely know if they can call on me and I can call on them. and to give me what I need. So that would definitely be the Love Bugs, the core members of the Love Bug group.
It's the RJay Hive. The
Love
J
Bugs.
Hive.
The Love Bugs.
The Love Bugs.
The Love
Okay.
Bugs. We're gonna get that.
So I feel like there's the emblem, a little tattoo that's going to be created.
A tattoo, maybe not, because I don't like pain. So
Yeah, you don't like needles, pain. Yeah, got that. So let's start. So we talked about family, of course. Your mom being the cheerleader of Love Bugs, right?
head cheerleader.
Sicily, 1918. Just picture it.
Oh, fucking
Pom poms and everything. So, so you have a son.
I do.
And let's talk about him because he kind of like, not kind of, he follows after you.
He does. It is so crazy. And I think any parent that is in the entertainment industry definitely wants to shoo their children, their offsprings, away from the entertainment industry, because we know what the fuck the entertainment industry consists
Absolutely.
of. All the scrutiny that comes with being in the limelight. But for whatever reason, this little joker had the opportunity to, at a very early age, go on to one of the projects that I was working on and ended up being cast in the project. How the fuck that happened? Just because he was him.
Right.
Just because his little personality, and he couldn't even talk good. He just still had personality. And ended up being cast in the project. And I was like, I looked at his mama, and his mama looked at me, and I was like, well, girl, it's a check. Well, go and get it. Pay for that college. You know what I mean? And he has subsequently gone on to where he is right now, being 9 years old, and has sold his first project to a major network.
That's a big deal.
And I have to congratulate him on that. And it's one of those things where you know that your children, and children period, are sponges. Right. But you never know the impact that you're actually making and how much they are actually looking at you.
Right.
And soaking in some of the things. And I remember specifically a conversation that I had with him, and he was like, well, I'm going to have your assistant make time for me to come in and speak with you and this and that. And I'm like, wait, he's really came into that meeting that he set up with my assistant, and he had on his little suit, he had on his little handwritten notes. And literally he was like, well, I've seen you do this, so this is what I'm going to do. I want to come correct, because otherwise you're not going to look at me.
Take me serious.
And take me serious, exactly.
So that's a good transition right there, because identifying self-confidence.
Yes.
How important is it in this industry of entertainment to learn what your level of confidence is, or train yourself to have this level of confidence before you put yourself essentially in a line of fire? Because, you know, once you put your work out there, it's out there. So good or bad criticism, like you're going to get it. And so
that's loaded, Jeremy.
So how important is it to have that exosuit?
It's extremely important, because confidence is what's going to be your shield. Because this industry will fucking tear you apart. And then be standing over there looking at you like a fucking vulture. Like, oh, bitch, you didn't survive. Okay, next victim.
Right.
So confidence has to be that shield. It has to be that armor that you have to put on. And you got to take that hoe off too. You definitely have to take it off.
Why is it important to take it off?
Because you need time, because that armor is heavy. Right? You have to give your body time to recover from the weight, the extra weight that you're not normally used to, that your bone, your structure is not used to carrying. You got to take that off.
Right.
Get them bones time to rest.
Right.
So that when it's time for you to put that fucking armor back on, you can put it on
with confidence.
With confidence and wear it and be able to shoot the bullets off as they come, and you can walk in your greatness because you have had time to rest. You have your shield, and you can move with grace, poise, and understanding as you go.
So, having the armor is important, y'all, because
for sure
we got to walk in just like, having an armor of gold. Before I ask my next question, shout out to Inebriation Station.
Because I was over there looking down to
because we got the little banner in the background.
Take a shot. We did not. Pause for the cause. Let's take a shot.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're gonna keep rolling, but I'm gonna ask you a question.
You go ahead.
So, we talked about wearing the armor in the industry. Where was there a time where you had to wear this armor a little longer than you expected, and then you felt the effects of this armor being on too long? Oh, I came ready to say.
Oh, I see you. She did her homework today. Absolutely. So you like to use the Superman reference, right? For sure, definitely. So I'm going to answer it this way. I'm going to answer it with a question. Okay. So what and when do you see a superhero put on their cape?
When someone needs help.
There's your answer. So down to the business of running the empire that I am running, I have to wear that cape often because there's multiple projects happening. Right. There's also in my personal life multiple projects, i.e. situations, drama, and all the shits and things that come with being a part of a family. Right. And all of that. That I have to wear it. So it's like it's the same armor and the same cape. However, if I am over here doing a 16-hour day on the professional side, and then at the same time, while doing this professional shit, who I am, Ricky, is still having to be Ricky, and RJ, I'm still having to wear the armor. Right. And so being human, bitch, I get tired. And I use this reference with you and someone we had on the show not too long ago. But you cut me, I bleed. And then I need time to rest. And oftentimes what happens with me is I throw myself into work when my personal is getting too much for me to deal with. And then oftentimes when work getting too much, well, I shut it off and I go ahead and throw myself into my personal life, be it be me being a father, me being a son, me being a brother, me being a friend. You know what? I'm finna take a whole 6 months off and not deal with work. Finna go on over here and deal with family, and then I'll be tired of them hoes too, and then I'll just go over here and back. Girl, I told y'all the 6 months. Now I'm ready to come back now. Right. So yeah.
Yeah. No, it answers the question. Definitely answers the question. Now that we have the shot here that's available from Inebriation Station, a salute to you. Oh. Cheers to you guys on the visuals and on the audio. If you guys are doing a little sippy sip, sip,
drink responsibly.
Always. Because just drink responsibly.
Ooh, that's cute. Go cinch off my little baby hair on my chest.
Oh gosh. Whew. Came back. We're here. We're not dead. So, let's spin a light conversation. Let's keep it light right now.
I am not messing up my mascara today, okay?
Okay, that's fine. You didn't put any on. So, if y'all didn't know, I'm very witty and comedic.
Well, you know what?
But
this
I'm not
is
a
why
comedian.
I cannot stand him.
That's fine.
No,
You can sit down. So, anyways.
bitch, I am sitting.
You said you couldn't stand me. Just sit down. Have a seat. Several of them. There are a few available.
I don't want the way I'm being treated.
So, we talked about, of course, your connection to family. We talked about SHIELD, how important it is to stand with confidence in the industry where, you can be eviscerated if you're not properly equipped. And
Come on, put in a reference.
So let's talk about what it takes to maintain your, I don't want to say status, to grow and maintain and grow. Being an actor / actress in the realm of entertainment, what do you feel are how a course has a curriculum of what the minimal requirements, or even a job description. There's minimal requirements that you need to have.
For sure.
Qualifications you need to have. What do you feel as an actor? And there's different breeds of them, but minimal qualifications of what is required to sustain and grow in the industry.
Oh, in the industry is for because I wear multiple hats in the industry. So are you asking as an actor, or are you asking as a director, or are you asking as a writer, or are you asking as a producer?
I can see how that could be a problem.
Right, because it's I can answer it differently for each one.
Okay, well, let's
of
go
those.
with all of them.
Okay, so I'm gonna start near and dear to my heart. Acting.
Okay.
Right. Acting, you have to be okay with rejection. Oh, excuse me, I say that again. Ooh, shout out to Inebriation Station. These bitches got me. You have to be okay with rejection.
I feel like that's across the board.
No, for sure. But most importantly, as an actor, you have to be okay with it. And here's why. As a director, okay, they don't want to give me the money. Cool. I'm going to finance it myself. As a producer, I'm looking for things to finance. They don't want to let me finance their project. Well, okay, bitch, I'm going to go over here and finance my own. So as far as an actor is concerned, you have to be okay, because at the end of the day, if you are an actor, not writer, director, not actor, producer, you have to wait on the work.
Right.
So you got to be okay with rejection. Okay. Rejection does not mean no. It just means not right now.
Not right now.
And you have to be okay with that, because what's for you is for you. And the doors that are closed, there's a window that just opened up.
Yeah.
You just have to walk around and find out what window's open. So if you got to walk around and look like a cat burglar, you can figure, does this window lit up?
Right.
Does this window lit up? Okay. I am not condoning being a thief. I'm just using it as a reference. Disclaimer.
One of the questions I wanted to ask is being part of the entertainment industry as an actor. What do you feel are the minimum requirements, basic qualifications? You have a job, and there are basic requirements in order for you to fit into this role. What do you feel as an actor, working with actors and actresses over the years? Pretty sure you've compiled a list of things that you feel is basic requirements. What do you feel those are for those that are trying to break into the industry?
The basic requirements is having the want to be able to dove into a different world. Because being an actor, you have to dove into whatever the writer, the architect, whatever the architect has put on the paper. You have to be able to understand where they are going as is relative to the character, right? But also where they're going as is relative to the story,
right?
Because how your story interacts with the other characters impacts the end game,
Right.
right? So it's like being able to do that, understand that you are, yes, you are driving the car, but at the same time, with driving the car, let me see if I can put it this way. With driving the car, you understand that there is still someone that is sitting in the room that is saying, all right, it's 15 seconds on red, it's 15 seconds on green, it's 30 seconds on yellow. There's somebody that's doing that, right? But at the same time, you got to look at, now you got the crossing guards that's walking the kids by. And they don't necessarily go, and they're not communicating with the person that's pushing the button. It says 15 seconds on red, 15 seconds on yellow, 15 seconds on green.
Right.
But you got to understand, but it all works in tandem. Mm-hmm. And you have to understand that I'm here, I got to do this, and I got to relate this story, I got to tell this story, I got to do it this way, so that at the end of the day, I make it home safely. I make it from point A to point B, down to point C safely.
So, great explanation on that. So you also said that you are a director.
I am.
Are the qualifications the same, or do they differ a bit? Because that's a larger role.
It is. So unless you are a Steven Spielberg or a Tyler Perry or a Tasha Smith or Regina King, or trying to go across the spectrum and name a different in a different level of directing, in a different classification. Shonda Rhimes, she's not a director though.
She's not.
She's not.
She's a writer.
She's just a writer, a creator, the Oracle.
Okay.
The Oracle. Shout out to Shonda. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Shout out to Shonda.
I see you in 2 weeks, girl. Shout out to all of them, because they are geniuses in their own right, because they have their own lanes. But being a director, it's a different, because you are the visionary, right? The writer is the architect.
Right.
But you, as a director, have to be able to manage a whole bunch of shit on the forefront. You have to be able to manage the shit with the writer, if you're not the writer and the director, right?
Right.
You got to be able to manage that. And you got to be able to manage the actors. You got to be able to manage the crew, the DP specifically, and then the costume design. And then you got to sit down with the executive team, down to the studios, and you got to manage a whole nother level of people, because they're going to say, you know what, they don't work for us, we're going to reshoot it.
Right.
Well, am I reshooting it with my budget or yours?
Right. Because
you tell me to reshoot it because it's going to take from shit I was planning on doing. So at the same time, no, that's a different. That is the because they are the visionary. They are the people that, if it is a success, they get all the praise.
Right.
If it is a failure, they get that shit too. Mm-hmm. The actors, they're there. They look pretty. They there. They deliver the job. Mm-hmm. They do the job. Mm-hmm. And I use my air quotes as it's relative to that, because at the end of the day, it all rides on the director, even when it comes to battling with the producers. Because if the director put their foot down, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying this, but I'm gonna say it. If they put their foot down and they be like, no, this is what I want. You don't give it to me or not. This is not what I want to do as it's relative to making this film, but this is what you're gonna give me money for your film. So it's not really mine. Okay, cool, that's great. That's what it's gonna be. So if it's failed, it's on you. Right. And you got to be able to be okay with saying that. Mm-hmm. If not, it could be a death sentence, or it definitely can be a resurrection.
So I'm glad you really said that really said that. I'm glad you said that because I know a few actors, and you can refresh my memory. Probably going to screw this up. So I recently saw a video on the actor that played in The Mummy. The main version. Mm-hmm. And we saw how his career took a scarlet tumble, if you will. And you know how The Rock was introduced through him, and you know how his career went a different trajectory. In those type of situations, not necessarily referencing him per se, but like when an actor feels like they don't have the say, or just a people pleaser, they're going to do something that what other people want to do, not necessarily what they want to do. Yes, to my team. Mm-hmm. Yes, they say do it, so do it. No. So in those type of situations, what would you advise actors, or even because I'm sure that producers don't really have that issue, or do they have that same issue? As far as what? As far as like who can put their foot down and has the final say. Actors probably has less. So there's different levels of a producer. Okay. Let's talk about it. So there is an associate producer, right? An associate producer is kind of sort of like, lack of a better way of putting it, an intern. Okay. They are a producer. On resume, it looks cute. Real cute. Associate producer, AP. And this is not any shot because I once was an associate producer and I have appreciated it then. But just for the sake of helping people understand what it is, intern. Right. Glorified. And then there is supervising producer. Right? So that's a step up. So you're down to the sophomore level. You know, if we're putting it down to the Colgated reference. And so you got a little bit more responsibility. So you got to manage whatever the associate producer was tasked with. If they were tasked with being a talent wrangler and making sure all of the extras get from point A to point B. And then they working with the PAs that are making sure that they get. So you got to do all of that. But you also got to make sure the props assistant got all the props for the scene that you're getting ready to shoot. Right. So you're supervising the different departments. Right. So that's a supervising producer. So then you also have a consulting producer. So that is someone that is a specialist in a certain area. So let's say like if we had a project, let's say a medical drama, right? Okay. So we are definitely going to want to get as close to realism as we possibly can. Right. So we're going to make sure that we have some doctors that are able to consult. That would make them a consulting producer. Because from that perspective that we have no knowledge on, and they have all of the knowledge, we're going to get your expertise for this. So you're going to consult on the project. Then you have, and there's others in between. You have an executive producer. Right. That is the person that go and gets the money. Okay. And they are responsible for the budgeting. They are responsible for making sure that we are on time so they don't cost us more money. They are making sure that all of the nuts and bolts are screwed tight and ready to move so that it moves like a well-oiled machine. And so those are the people who are in the rooms with the network and the studios. And they're going and they're sitting, oh, well, there was a no over here. Well, let's go on over here, slide over here, see what this network and what this studio is going to say. Right. They are the ones that are shopping it around so that everybody else can eat at the end of the day. So how important, that brings me to my next question, how important is it to really market yourself? Ooh. Because as I would tell anyone in the podcast, acting, producing, entertainment is still an entrepreneurial realm for me. It's an art. And so you have to be able to put yourself out there. I'm going to say it to you like this, and it's going to sound probably really surface. If you don't sell yourself, how can you expect somebody else to sell you? Right.
You can take that any way. You can make it demeaning. But what I am saying to you is, if you cannot put yourself and make yourself presentable enough to have someone to believe that you have what it takes for them to put the money behind you, how can you expect from them to just wanting and willingly put the money behind you?
Right.
So you definitely have to sell yourself, not sell your soul, because it's completely different, and not to misconstrue what that means. But it means that you definitely have to step into being able to be a salesman for your brand, because all brands are being sold, right? Coca-Cola, Ford, Nissan, inebriation stations, brands are being sold. Right. I just looked up and saw it. So it worked.
Yeah, I figured that. It worked. Yeah, it worked.
It name drop.
Yes.
And all the things. So you have to be able to understand that you are a brand, right? So you got to sell this brand. You got to go into these pitch meetings. You got to be able to have a tape deck ready. You have to be able to have your elevator pitch ready. You have to be able to be ready on the fly, right? You never know when your opportunity is going to present itself.
Right.
And when it presents itself, you got to be ready to press go at the drop of a motherfucking dime. Ain't no other way of putting it.
Okay. So marketing yourself is important, y'all. Just on every tangent, every front, entertainment and beyond, it's important. So when we talk about representing ourselves and staying true to ourselves and knowing your worth, essentially, when was it that you knew what that was for you? Because I'm just like every person that I've interviewed that was in part of the entertainment realm, they had an evolution. There's fixed moments in time where they said, I can recall this happening, and this is when something changed, something snapped for them. And I'm pretty sure, I'm almost certain, without even getting validation from you, that you've had multiple pivotal moments in your not only acting career, director career. You've had those moments. What, as far as an actor, what was the first moment, and how did that feel, and how did that just go about?
Okay, so child actor, baby actor, like for real. And it wasn't until I booked That's So Raven show. Excuse me. It wasn't until then, because I had the biggest crush on Raven Simone.
Really?
I had because she was Olivia. You know, she was Olivia. You know, she was so cute. And then she was Nicole, I'm hanging with Mr. Cooper. And it was like, she's a year older than I am. And it was like, Simone. So literally, it wasn't until then. And being on that set for That's So Raven and playing the character that I played, it wasn't a big character at that particular time, but as the show grew, the storyline for my character grew, and I was able to pop in, pop out, and even to the spinoff to today, down to Raven's Home. So it was like, okay, like literally, you had a crush on this girl, and now you're working with her, and now she and I are really good friends. And it's like, it wasn't until then, being on that set, I was like, okay, all right, bitch, you got this shit. You can really do this. And at that particular time, I had started to, because it was 2002, 2003. So that was right. I was a freshman in high school around that time. And when I realized, when the light switch came on for me, it was like, then I started to book other things. Those things were related to the Disney Channel. But it still was like, okay, when you have that self-realization of the greatness that you possess,
right,
the world will become dormant And what I mean by that, it will become your footstool. And it would make way for the next step. And you just have to walk in your greatness and let that be your pathway, your greatness.
Speaking of greatness, someone recently got an award. Yeah, we're going to walk past that one.
Well, no, you ain't got to walk past it.
Well, okay, cool. We can just do a slow-mo. So,
shout out to the slow-mo.
Shout out to slow-mos. It was a production oversight.
Definitely, because I didn't know it happened until it happened. There's no name until it happened until afterwards.
But we made corrections, and we're back in the game. So, awards.
Yes.
You recently just got one. Yes. But that wasn't your first one?
It was not.
So do you want to walk through starting with the first, the oldest one?
Notable ones? Or just period? I mean,
I don't know what's notable and what's not.
So we're talking about industry-wise.
Industry-wise.
Okay, so I am a 4-time Emmy Award-winning writer.
Okay, yes.
Thank you. Keep going. I am a Tony Award-winning ensemble member. I am an Oscar Award-winning writer as of late this season. Mm-hmm. And that's all I can say as relative to that.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just waiting down to the Grammys so I can be the youngest EGOT winner. It's okay. So for J Hood got it right now, but girl, I'm coming for you. I love you, boo.
So shout out to her. And for those that are not as familiar with that status, what is EGOT?
So EGOT is the creme de la creme of the entertainment industry. That means you have gone across movies, theater, music, and television. You have gone across all of the major mediums, and you have conquered and reached a level of greatness, and I use it in air quotes, because you've received those awards that is at the mecca for those particular areas, right? Those genres of the entertainment industry. You have reached that creme de la creme. Mm-hmm. And to get all of those, it creates the word EGOT in me.
So,
Oscar.
So who currently mainstream that people would know, or maybe not mainstream?
Whoopi Goldberg, Jennifer Hudson, Harry Belafonte, John Legend. I'm speaking specifically of my brothers and sisters of color, because those are the people that I relate to the most. Who else am I forgetting? Please forgive me, y'all. Because shout out to Inebriation Station. I can't remember everyone. But there are a few more. And it's literally not that many of us of color. And Jennifer Hudson is the youngest. Girl, I'm coming for you. I'm on your coattail, girl. I'm coming for you. Love you, Jay. Love you.
So, I know that, the Oscars, when was that about?
It was March 11th.
March 11th. And so one of the surprising moments of the Oscars was when your girl, Angela Bassett,
yes,
a lot of us was very much surprised by the ruling.
Hell, I was fucking surprised and I was there.
Exactly. And so what was that energy like? Because, I wasn't there it was in LA, right? Mm-hmm. I wasn't in LA. I just, saw it all across social media, the blogs. Mm-hmm. But you were there in person. So usually when you work amongst your colleagues of color or just people that you just have a close relationship with and are rooting for, what was that energy like when, all of you guys had like this, not expectation, but I guess just like a feeling that, this one's going to be yours, girl, or man, dude, it's going to be yours. And it didn't work out that way. It was heavy. And does it go back to wearing that armor?
You know what? I'm gonna answer it two ways.
Okay.
Because being there and everyone understood why Miss Bassett felt the way she felt. I'm going to answer it that way first because she's a GOAT. She's a motherfucking GOAT.
On multiple levels.
Oh, for sure. And the work that she has put on over the course of her career, and there have been several instances where she should have got it and didn't get it. And as of late, that is still true to game and to fact. And the room was heavy, especially amongst her community. And I mean her community as in the Black community and then the community of women. And I think, and I can't speak to the winner, right? But I can even think, I can't speak to how she felt, but I could also see on her face that really, I got it, she didn't get it. And this is just what I feel was on her face when that happened. But what does that mean, though? Yeah, we appreciate the accolades that come with honoring the work that we do. But in most spaces that we occupy, we look for validation in places that don't necessarily need to be validated. They're cute. They're real good. It is definitely going to make your bank account look better. And I'm pretty sure we can go into that later as relative to how life changes after that. But definitely, we have to be able to understand that we don't need the validation. The validation is in the work.
Yes.
And the work speaks for itself. This is just an award. And I can probably get in a shitload of trouble for saying this. It's a paperweight at the end of the day.
Okay.
I'm appreciative. And of those that I have received and those that will come. But at the end of the day, the validation becomes from the work. And the work speaking, was I able to touch just one?
Right.
Was I able to make someone emote and relate to the performance that I gave? And that's me speaking as an actor. Was my words able to feel somebody's soul?
Right.
And it's me speaking as a writer. Was I able to paint the picture vividly enough and crystal clear enough? And it's me speaking as a director. So was I able to curate an experience both for my actors, my investors, and also the studio heads? It's me speaking as a producer. So we definitely have to just learn to move in those spaces and understand that the validation comes in the work and not in the accolade.
Absolutely. I can receive that. So we're still here with RJay, y'all. We're rocking out. I got a little bit lower.
I'm a little bit lower.
Liner. My drink is a little lower than his over here. So. Excuse me. Oh, that tastes like water now. So I'm not gonna finish it. It's giving backwards vibes. Backwash. So we're gonna change it up just a little bit. Granted, like a lot of information, and there's still a lot more I can dive into, which we can circle back into. But let's talk about the mental element, the mental aspect, because you have to have that balance of being an actor. So I guess essentially we're still talking about you as an actor, but you as art.
Because at the core, like, what does that mental look like? Because you have to juggle these various personalities. You have to find
what works for you to reset, right? Like you were talking about earlier, resetting, wanting to reset. And so how important is it to be able to reset, managing and juggling the various things that you have going on in your life?
Very important. I listen to my body for the most part. I definitely listen to my body, and I know how far I can push. And it's definitely, I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm just going to give you a case in point. As of late, shout out to the inebriation station. As of late, I have experienced a lot of different turbulent situations in my life. And I can dove into those situations as they come to me. But there is a point in time when I need to reset. It's like, okay, well, my body, like I can have, I can have a trip the next day from coming and doing the podcast for me to go to LA, New York, Miami, wherever I'm going, out of the country, wherever, and be like, you know what, this flight finna be delayed because I don't have the energy. Let production go when production goes. And whatever needs to be cleaned up, I'll clean it up when I get there because my body just can't. And I have been at your home and just like crashed, literally. Oops, they hurt. Not really. But literally crashed at your house, and you'll send me a message. Well, I thought you had a flight. I did. I delayed it because bitch, I don't want to get out this bed right now. I don't want to get out the bed because I literally don't have the strength, the energy. I need to. I'm right here plugged into the socket right now, down to the TV because I'm watching. Right. You know what I mean? I'm recharging right now, and it's literally. It's important to definitely recharge when you need to. Listen to your body. Listen to, because at the end of the day, it's not going to lie to you. It's going to tell you, bitch, look, you at 0%, but you finna be hospitalized in a minute. So listen, you recharge real quick. Go and plug into the socket.
Okay.
So you can recharge. Otherwise, bitch, you finna be hospitalized. You're finna be dehydrated, exhausted, and then you're gonna be down to the TMZ.
Gonna be on the TMZ and on the YouTube. So we are going to transition into talking about discernment. And what does that look like for you? Because as an actor, as a producer, as a father, life has taught you how to deal with such situations. And understanding the purity and energy behind people and what their motives are. So let's speak to that.
So that's loaded for me. I'm gonna tell you why that's loaded. Because I'm an empath, right?
Like from Charmed, you giving Phoebe.
It's the reference for me. Because we had a previous conversation when we take the previous podcast. So it's loaded because I am an empath.
And for those who don't know what an empath is, what is an empath?
So an empath, at the hem of it all, just cut and dry, is a feeler. They are able to feel, and ideally, for the sake of a reference point, let's take a blind person. They can feel the room without sight, right? Because they can feel through it. They can feel the energies. I'm not blind. I have sight. But the way that I, in my opinion, see it for them is when they're feeling something, it gives a vibration and it comes to form to what we who see see what they feel.
Right. Okay.
I hope that makes sense. And again, I'm not without sight. I can see, so I can't speak for them, but that's what I feel like it would be like.
Right.
And so an empath is a feeler. They feel. We got a little reverb. We feel truly what a person is going through, truly feel what energy is going to be, what energy is. And it's truly the essence of, you know how like my grandmother used to say to me, now I know when you're lying. Mm-hmm. If I ask you a question, I already know the answer to it. Because that was the discernment in her to be able to discern whether it's the truth or a lie.
Right.
And so kind of sort of like with an empath, a person that is empathic is able to discern whether or not they are being lied to, whether or not the energy is good. You probably can tell if an empath's energy has been drained because they will become recluse. It's because it's so draining that they're trying to plug into the socket and recharge. And it's literally because it's too much. Because when you're an empath, not only are you wearing whatever you're going through, but you can feel what somebody else is going through.
Exactly.
And so tying it back into the question that you asked about discernment is definitely something that is needed in this industry, speaking specifically about the entertainment industry, because the entertainment industry is very conniving. That's the word that I'm going to use. It can be deceitful, but conniving because it's all about self. Cut and dry. And so someone who is green, definitely, if they have the ability to gain knowledge by someone who is not going to take advantage of them, because we are definitely in today's time, down to the 2023, are living in the movement that is about Me Too, that is about what? For me, I'm black. So what does that mean? You have to be able to move in these different spaces and understand and discern what is going to be okay for you to move in. And oftentimes I can speak for a few different communities that I am in, right? I am a black man. So first and foremost. Secondly, I am a black man that is a part of the alphabet community.
The plus community, yeah.
So that is a community that I can walk in. And I'm also a father, right? I'm a father who is not the stereotypical down to society's visualization and classification of a father, a black father.
Right.
So that's a different community because we do exist. We're not all out there doing the most, and I'm gonna classify it like that, down to how society sees it. I'm also a black business owner. I am a black visionary. That puts me in a different category because I can see the shit, and now it's time to execute the shit that I see. And I necessarily can't execute the shit that I see because of my skin color.
So we talked about multitude of things, actually. being in the industry, armor, and multiple levels, discernment.
We're going to take a shot.
Yes, we're going to take our shot now that has been getting stale, waiting on us.
I'm fucking dead.
Recharging. We talked about how important it is, but what do you do on your downtime? What do you like to do?
I am actually, believe it or not, and you know this now because I probably repeated it like 300 times. I'm actually a loner. I prefer being alone. However, there are points in time where I want to be around my friends, and I want to go out and I want to kick it. I want to have a good time. But then there's times when I just want a good book next to a fire and give me some food. And, you know, every now and again I look up from the book and then look at the TV and then look back into the book and fall into the world of words, which I fell in love with. And I'm just going into it because I don't think I told you this, is I have dyslexia.
No, you never told me.
And that's actually when me, as the person that was trying to find an out for that hiccup, I'm not going to call it a handicap, that hiccup, I fell in love with actually memorizing things, because that was my way to outshine the other people who could do what came natural to them, versus me trying to figure out how to do it and being laughed at when trying to read something in class. There was a few instances where that happened that I can recall as of me being in the grown man body that I'm in. And so doing poems and falling in love with poetry, I started to fall in love with the words, right? And which allowed me to understand the words even more because I was in love with words, which fueled me as a writer. Right? Because now, bitch, you can't tell me nothing. You don't know unless you know. And oftentimes, when even with because there's a clause in all of my contracts for me as an actor, I need to receive the script before you want me to, so that when I can get it done before you want me to do it, so that it's done when you need me to do it.
Right.
So there's a clause there. And if I don't receive the script and you done say, well, I need you to be all booked by this time, and then it don't happen, but did you get it to my people? Did my people get it to me on time? It's in my contract. For sure. I don't necessarily struggle as much, but there are moments where, oh, damn, I ain't never shared this before. People, look at the people.
Exclusively on JSR.
I don't necessarily struggle as much now, but there are moments where I'm like, okay, well, look, is that... Well, I may drop an E out, I may miss an I, or move an O over, or move the R over where it wasn't supposed to be. And even as a writer, and I shout out to my writing team for catching my mistakes. This is your time. This is me giving you the glory. I'm talking to my team. This is me giving you the glory. Me giving you the glory because y'all say I don't tell y'all when y'all doing good. Y'all are doing amazing. Bitch, we Oscar.
Which is, again, a great accomplishment because, you know,
for sure,
there's a lot that goes into the whole Oscar nominations. Right. And then, like, the back end of who gets to decide what. You know more than I do. I just know recently, I just know the overview. It seemed like there's a lot of boxes you have to check off. So, you know,
so let me talk about that experience just momentarily. Speaking about the Academy Awards. So, I didn't find out that the project that Was nominated and ended up winning. Wasn't nominated until like 2 weeks before. And I think you can attest to, because we were working on the project.
Yes.
And we were supposed to be out of town for that project.
Yes.
And then I told you that, there's this Oscars happening.
By the way.
But we're doing this. Well, you don't want to fucking go to that? It's literally what you said. And I was like, well, you know, what the people had told me, I didn't have to be there because of, you know, all the legalities. And I mean, inside, I was like, well, you know, just to be down to the nominations and I can use that for a coin upgrade. That's literally how it went, because I'm all about my bag at the end of the day. But literally, I was like, well, you know, they told me I ain't got to be there, this and this and that. What panned through, or what didn't pan through for the project that we were working on, I was like, okay, well, damn, I ain't got shit else to do. And then I get the phone call. So, is your stylist available? Available for what? You got her number, or you didn't call her? Well, because she getting ready to style you for the Oscars. I said, well, huh? You told me I wasn't going. So, I didn't have to be there.
Right.
Okay, well, this didn't pan out because what I book outside of my management team, even though they can see my calendar, it's still like, okay, what takes precedence? Is this paying just you or just paying us?
Right.
And so she was like, where you going? I said, okay, well, girl, let me let you know in a couple hours if that's going to be able to be sufficient. And literally, I said, okay. The next day, life changed. And literally went from not being available to being available to go, or being told that you can't go and then being available to go. That's the correct verbiage. And literally, I had the most amazing time there. And even in the climate and that I had to move in, it kind of sort of made me think and second guess when I do certain projects, whether or not I need to relinquish certain projects to. If you feel a way about your project, don't sell for short-term glorification.
Right.
Because what is for you will be for you. Case in point.
So, it's real shit, though. Workshops.
Ooh. Yes.
We did a mock podcast interview here at the Business Lounge Dallas. Shout out to them, by the way, for allowing us to have Rose Strickland, allowing us.
Got it right for the second time.
Got it right for the seventh time.
Second.
Cool. So we had a mock podcast interview. Well, it was more so. It was a mock interview, and we have these individuals that's going to be on. They're going to be on the show.
And you'll see them. Y'all see them. Or seasons down the line.
Because we God damn it!
Woo! Shout out to Inebriation Station.
Shout out to Inebriation Station. Me. So, these individuals, they were not actors.
No, not at all.
And I speak actually one individual more specifically.
Yeah, for sure. That's fact.
Not an actress. And you asked her to do something.
I did.
And something very magical happened when you told her to do a line from a movie, right? Because she is a movie connoisseur. She's
a line connoisseur.
A line connoisseur.
A line from not just movies, but
yes, she can do TV shows as well.
Right.
But she does a great job. And so you challenged her
I did.
You challenged her you wanted her to elevate her line connoisseur ways and convert it into being an actress. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we saw the dichotomy, the struggles that she had with it, because she went from like, oh, I know the line, but I'm not an actress. Mm-hmm. And you were able to bridge that gap. And so during that moment, let's talk through that moment. What was going through your head? Like, because I know that an idea was birthed from that process, because you are a visionary as well. Mm-hmm. Walk through that moment, and what idea did you come up with during that moment that said, you know what, I can reach people in a different way?
So to answer that question directly, there's a workshop that's brewing that will be held here at the Business Lounge in Dallas. When that is going to happen, because I don't know. But just stay tuned down to the Instagram, and it will be disclosed there. But at that particular moment, what I felt as I was helping my fellow human being, I realized that you're already doing the work.
Right.
You're already doing the work. Well, let's explore from a different lens. Right? If you're already doing it, why aren't you doing it? Move in the areas that make way for you. Let me repeat that. Move in the way that makes way for you.
You be thinking big, bitch.
That part. So think big, bitch. And I use bitch lightly. But at the same time, it was like she had not thought about being an actress. And you can attest to this. There was like a little light switch that came on. Mm-hmm. She was like, well, you're fucking right. Why the fuck am I not?
What does that do to you in those moments when people have that light bulb moment, when you're able to guide them to their purpose, or essentially like you in that night, during that moment, you helped her find a new purpose? Mm-hmm. What does that do for you?
What does it do for me?
What did it do? Because I don't know if that was the first time that happened to you.
It's not, because as a director, it happens often.
Oh, yes.
So it gave me in that moment, because I was able to give her vision through a different lens. Mm-hmm. So it was like she was seeing, it was a little fuzzy, right? So we put some glasses. So we put some glasses on her, and now she can see. Mm-hmm. So I was able to help her see that, well, look, shit, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can fucking do this. And I'm going to have to put the work in, because as an actor, you definitely have to put the fucking work in.
Right.
Because you can't just be an actor. And I'm just going to, I got to throw you on the bus. So just yesterday, we were taping your promo, right?
For JSR Media.
JSR Media, we were. And there were lines that you had to say when we were filming your promo, right? And there were instances where you nailed it. First take. And me, as well as our cinematographer, shout out to Inebriation Station. Anytime that there is a stumbling words, it's Inebriation Station spot.
You can stumble your way back towards Inebriation Station.
Right. We definitely was like, okay, now let's do it again. That was good. But I feel like what we pigeonholed you was with us telling you that it was good instead of saying doing it again, right? And it's kind of sort of like maybe it's a different conversation.
I feel manipulated.
Sure, go with that. He gave consent.
I have no words.
It's all on camera. It's great.
It won't make it.
Executive team says it will. did. What was the question?
How do you feel in those moments?
How do I feel in those moments? So, in those moments, as a person that's able to usher someone into understanding who they are or can be, it's almost how I felt when my children was born. Because it's new life that's coming. And I'm helping. I helped. I created them, right? And so in that moment, I'm creating a little something for them. Then, and when it's born, down to the greatest self, and be like, yep. And be over there in the corner. Yep. I had something to do with that. It's cool.
So,
It's great.
And as far as wording purposes, you felt like a proud dad in the sense of
Yes.
Being in the actor realm as a producer, seeing talent develop literally on set.
For sure.
Unlocking
The greatest self.
Their self, taking them to the next level. And so you find joy and solace in those moments.
Absolutely.
And you consider do you consider yourself an
Shout
industry
out to inebriation section.
Yep. Do you consider yourself an industry mentor?
Yes. Yes. Definitely. Wholeheartedly.
Well, aside from the fact that, your son is a child prodigy in itself.
Yes.
Getting various deals from various networks.
Shout out to more.
Yeah, so that's really amazing. One of my mantras is paying it forward.
Yes.
And so being able to humble yourself, you find talent in places you would never expect it.
Exactly.
And literally, the individual that we were speaking of, they came here for another event, just full of energy, animated.
And we just started shooting the shit.
And y'all were shooting the shit.
No, it wasn't just because it blossomed down to a conversation that she was having with you.
Yes.
And then that led into, let's see if you can name this line from this project. And it literally was like, I've struck the lucky pot of gold. For me, it was like literally, look, this baby has something. Let me see if she's going to be able to. And for the most part, before she was like, I can't. Yeah, you can. You can do anything you put your mind to.
Right.
You can do any fucking thing you put your mind to. You just have to get outside of self and realize that your mind is big. However, the world is much bigger. So get outside of that and step into your greatness. Walk into it because you can. Once you get outside of that, you can. It's the fucking universe. Have y'all seen the universe? It's fucking big. It's endless.
I don't think anyone's seen the entire universe.
I mean, I ain't seen the entire universe, but I see what they put down to the movies. Gravity, shout out.
Okay, so we definitely want to see those workshops.
They are definitely in progress. I'm just waiting to see when it's going to happen, mate.
Okay, yes. And speaking of monologues.
Oh, Lord, no, it's not monologue. It's a dialect.
You did one with in front of the MTS network on last Wednesday.
I did.
And it wasn't something that was expected. And I think that was and you can attest to this, because I'm a junior actor.
A junior, oh Lord.
You can attest to this. Like sometimes you just have to be able to be on your P's and Q's.
For sure.
Any moment, you don't ever know who's in the room or who's going to need that talent at that moment.
For sure.
And so that's what happened on Talent Wednesdays, the Wednesday kickbacks at Tucci's in Arlington, sponsored by the MTS Network. And so make sure you join us on one of the various themed Wednesdays.
For sure. Tune in.
So during that moment, again, challenging you as an actor. Well, it may not have did it challenge you when you were called for duty?
So, because we all received that call, right? Because all of the staff members was pulled to the side. It was like, well, this is the situation, right? We got to do this. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, but you really don't feel like doing this. However, you are a part of this show. And so to keep the show moving, because the rule of thumb in showbiz, the show must go on. You may be sick. As long as you have the Kobe-sha and the diarrhea, you're good to fucking go. So the show will go on. So literally, we're standing there in the briefing or whatever, and I'm like, okay, well, shit, this is what the people are telling us going to happen. We got to figure out what the fuck is going to happen. All right. And I said then, I was like, at last resort, I will do. And I tapped in even after concluding from my little hut. We moved forward and we got through. And then I was like, okay, well, do I need to? Yes, you do. And I'm still, because I'm a judge for this particular show, right? So I'm literally sitting there and I'm judging and I'm literally shelling off my clothes or accessories or whatever, and taking my glasses off because I had glasses on at that particular time. And I'm literally, because you finna do this? I'm literally shelling off because I am an actor who fully submerges himself into the role. And even though it was just a monologue for a brief moment, thrown on the spot, not even an hour before it happened, I'm going to fully submerge myself into it. And so I literally, with the exception of removing my bottoms, was naked for me. And beyond my comfort level as RJay. As Ricky. But RJay, the performer, the actor, the entertainer, was like, you know what, bitch, you got to do this job. You're here to do the job. The people done told you what it was, so you got to do it. Cool. And literally, I do not motherfucking walk barefoot. Not even in my own motherfucking house. No, not at all. I walked in the establishment that we were in barefoot after getting, because I had on a hat, I had on glasses, I had on a shirt, and on a jacket, and all the things. I came out of the things. Long and short, I literally stripped down for the role and stepped into it. So
yes, you did, and you did an amazing job. So shout out to you.
Going down to your MTS network.
Yes.
You guys can see the video.
Make sure you guys follow the MTS network at MTS network on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, MySpace, Black Planet, all these
Twitter, OnlyFans is great. Wait, they gonna kick my ass. They gonna kick my ass.
They gonna kick both our ass when this airs. RJay, we've definitely enjoyed you for coming on the show, being the EP. We're gonna give you another round of applause. Being the EP for the show, allowing just the voices from the guests that's been on the show to be able to speak in a way that is an expression of themselves.
For sure.
Right, and so you help aid in that process. So we definitely appreciate you.
Sure.
But before we depart, how can people follow you? How can they find you, child?
You can follow me on Instagram only, because all the other pages are private. It's going to be OFFICALRJay. I'm gonna spell it again. Ooh, shout out to inebriation.
Official RJay.
No, because official is spelled with two I's, and there's not two I's in official RJay.
Ooh, I didn't even know that. I just found it. I halfway typed in and it came up. You must be
Because my
popular.
picture.
You must be popular.
Looking at the Lord is good and great is the praise. Down to the TikTok is RJay the actor. And then to TikTok. Shout out to y'all. Hey y'all.
Well, we appreciate you for coming on.
For sure.
And of course, he will be in the background, and you hear him as the voice on the other podcast, as he'll be mic'd up and opinionated and have questions have questions for the guests well after the show even ends officially. So definitely again appreciate you for coming on. Sure. And that marks the end of this podcast. You guys tune in to the next episode, and we'll see you guys later. Shout out to you.
All right, love bug.
Well, you seen that on the internet? No, I was listening to Jigga Set. Oh, I be listening to every show, keeping me all in the know. Jigga Set Radio. Well, you seen that on the internet? No, I was listening to Jigga Set. Oh, I be listening to every show, keeping me all in the know. Jigga Set.